Welcome everyone to the second round of the UzChess Cup 2026. We have Grandmaster Nodirbek Yakubboev going to his game. He is facing the India number one Arjun Erigaisi. As Arjun enters in, getting checked from the fair play team there. The players are all staying in the same hotel and have to come to the hall. There he is, Arjun. He drew his first round against Shamshidin Wakidov, and now it's Nodirbek Yakubboev. He is the current Uzbek number 3 after Nodirbek Abdusattorov and Javokir Sindarov, and Arjun opens the game with pawn to c4. Yakubboev is rated 2689, but I feel like he is close to 2720 or 2730 in strength, because if you look at his performances, he usually wins all the challengers tournaments he takes part in. He also was part of the gold medal winning Uzbek team in 2022. There are so many things. At the World Cup, he nearly qualified to the candidates. He was 4th. Top 3 players qualify. So Arjun, by the way, plays the English opening with an early fianchetto of the bishop and delaying the knight to c3 move and d5. I kind of like this opening for both sides. Black is playing the reverse Sicilian, and now knight c3 is the common move, asking a question to the knight, but Arjun goes knight f3, attacking the pawn. Now, very important to remember, e4 is not possible because of the check and you lose the pawn. So you have to do something about this, and he defends it with bishop d6. Okay, you can castle now. Knight to c3 seems logical. And he goes knight to c3. He attacks the knight. Okay, if you take here, I take back with the b pawn, and that's normal. You can go back to maybe knight b6. Oh, he takes it. He takes here, and I think taking back a b takes c3 makes a lot of sense. So Arjun takes it, bolsters his center here, and now black needs to decide about his pieces. Where do the bishop go, where does the knight go? But first he says, let me castle it out, which makes sense. Short castling. And now Arjun can also short castle, but he goes d4. Interesting move. And what about e4? Like here the problem is, if you go e4, knight g5, attacking here, and f5 is met with queen b3 check, and here. So that's the reason why he goes knight c6. And now Arjun castles. So very interesting play by Arjun. And rook b8. Maybe with the idea of playing b6 and bishop b7. Wow. Just coming out of this long diagonal. e4 by Arjun, grabbing the center now. And Yakubboev plays pawn to b6. I was wondering if a move like bishop g4 makes sense, but then you don't want to be giving up the bishop. So b6 with the plan of bishop b7 is logical. Rook to b1, putting the rook on the semi-open file on b1. And Yakubboev plays rook e8. I guess there could potentially be a threat of takes and the e4 pawn hanging. So Arjun may want to defend his pawn in the center. He does play rook e1. Now h6. So he's keeping it flexible with his bishop. Maybe it could go here, maybe it could go here. Bishop e3. So like if you take here, I take back, and if you take this, then I have knight d2 and you lose the knight. So that's the reason why Arjun is not in a hurry to defend the pawn here on e4. Queen f6 played, and now queen a4. I was wondering if knight d2 made sense, but then the problem with knight d2 is like takes, cd, knight d4. But now you have queen a4 with a brutal double attack. So maybe Arjun reverses the move order. He goes queen a4, bishop d7, and now knight h4, a very, very interesting move. You can't take here because the bishop is hanging. So you have to do something about it. He defends the bishop, now threatens to take the pawn. And queen c4. Okay, will Yakubboev, he goes knight a5. There was also a possibility to give up a pawn like this if rook b5 using this. But okay, knight a5, queen f1. Arjun plays such unusual moves. He's just insane. g5. I think Yakubboev gets a bit ambitious here. He's like, you can't go with the knight to f5 because I'll simply chop it off. So you have to come back. And now if you take here on d4, I'll take back, and once again if rook e4, knight e5, the rook is trapped here. So that's the reason why he goes knight c6, and now Arjun pushes the pawn forward. Knight goes back. Yakubboev feels that provoking d5 is a victory for him because now he gets the c5 square. Knight goes to d2. This knight could potentially come to c4, knight b7. Very high class positional game going on. And now Arjun goes queen e2. He improves the position of the queen somewhere. He has to plan an f4 break, but that would be long way away, you know. It's not something you can do immediately. Knight to c5. Putting some pressure on the e4 pawn, and the knight is well placed on c5. And now look at this. Knight to c4. Arjun gets his knight here. Keeps up the pressure on d6 and e5. Yes, 22 minutes. Yakubboev 21. Bishop goes back to f8. And the madman resurfaces here. f4. Whoa, what a move by Arjun. You know, it's maybe not the best move, but look at the thought behind this. The engines may hate it, but humans, I guess this is an incredible decision. Humans are going to struggle. Now, you've given up a pawn, but bishop d4 attacking the queen. Okay, the queen has to come to g5. Pinning here, threatening bishop h3. And now king to h1 with the plan of rook g1. He goes bishop to g4, attacking the queen. Yakubboev playing well until now. Queen f1. And now bishop g7 or h5 are good moves, but he goes c6. And this is the craziness that Arjun creates, which forces his opponents to make decisions. By the way, c6 is a very logical move because you want to break the center. And Arjun takes the pawn. He's like, I don't care about pawn structure. This pawn is strong. Rook e6 with the idea of hitting here, but also maybe rook g6 is the plan. But now you can push the pawn and defend it here. Instead, Arjun plays bishop f3, a very interesting move. Because if rook takes c6, he wants to take and play knight e5 with a fork. Look at the crazy complications. h5 and a beautiful little rook lift. The rook is coming to g2. Bishop g7 played. And now this move e5 is incredibly strong. Arjun finds it. Defends here. Rook is coming in. And also the knight is coming to d6. More importantly, queen takes f3. The queen defends the pawn on c6. The rook is coming to g2. He goes queen g4. You don't want to be trading queens right now. You want to be controlling the d3 square. So queen f1 and finds it. He finds the move again. I mean, Arjun is playing insanely good chess. f3 played, but this time Yakubboev, he stops rook g2, but knight d6. What do you have in mind for this one? Nodirbek is almost lost here. I mean, totally lost. Knight d6. And just like that, against a super strong player, Arjun Erigaisi has created complications that were too difficult to handle. And now rook f2. With the idea of taking on f3. Yes, best move. This is the reason why Arjun is kind of admired and loved by everyone in the chess circles. Rook f3 taken, f7 is weak, c7 could come in, knight to f5, king is completely, I mean, he just lost. The knight on c5 is a nice trophy that black has, but nothing more from that. Yakubboev is also low on time. He's down to his last 10 seconds. And instead of finding a move, he decides to resign. Arjun Erigaisi scores his first win in Uzbekistan at the UzChess Cup Masters. And what a game he has played. Truly insane and incredible. Some of the decisions, especially starting with that break f4, were just too good. Just too good. And this is the Arjun that we all know. This is the Arjun who is ruthless when it comes to players who are slightly weaker than him. And after the game, we managed to catch up with Arjun Erigaisi and get his thoughts on the encounter. Himank, who is part of the team, interviewed him. Check it out.
Arjun, quite a complex fight today, and you came out on top. First win here at the UzChess Masters. How are you feeling?
Yeah, feeling good. It was an interesting game, and especially towards the end, it was very complicated with a lot of tactics to calculate. But yeah, I thought I calculated fairly well.
I think both of you are players who like basically want to go for very complicated, wild positions, and you always go for it. How was it from the perspective of the opening today? Like, how was your prep today for Yakubboev?
Yeah, he's someone I know wouldn't back down from a fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't have to do too much to create an interesting game, and yeah, and fairly early on, he made a move that I didn't really know, and I was just trying to play something that he wouldn't know, but also not too bad.
Where do you think he started cracking? Sort of. Was there a move where you would say you started feeling that like you are now in the driver's seat?
Yeah, in the start, I did not like his h6 queen f6 plan. I think queen on f6 is quite misplaced because it's always vulnerable to these knight h4 f4 ideas. And I made this stupid move queen a4, which I regretted a lot. I initially just wanted to go knight h4, but then I spotted this queen at a4. I thought, okay, bishop d7 d5, he has to go b5, and here I was happy. But yeah, as soon as I made the move, I realized after bishop d7 d5, he has knight d4. So, okay, luckily I at least saw it there and kept the game alive with knight h4, queen c4. But I think his g5 was a bit too weakening. Well, it wasn't easy after that, and maybe there were still some interesting moments. But yeah, I think after g5, his king is always weak, and so it's easier for me to play because it's his king that is weak.
A great win over Yakubov today, and Arjun. Yesterday's game, I think, was a bit of a solid draw. Did you feel you have any chances there?
Yeah, I mean, objectively not really, but if I didn't allow this rook h3 g4 trick, then maybe I would have kept some practical chances.
And Arjun, you're here with your sister in Uzbekistan. Do you travel with her often? I think not so much.
Yeah, not so much. She was busy with her MBBS for the last like 5 years, and yeah, this is yeah, and I just like to have someone with me, so she came to accompany me here.
And is there someone helping remotely in terms of seconds or?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, my second he also came to the last tournament I played in.
That's great to know. And Arjun, just one final question. Very recently, your good friend Pragnananda won Norway Chess 2026. Were you following the games and maybe a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. The last couple of rounds I didn't follow so closely because I was traveling, but the rest I was following quite closely. And Prag showed great mental strength, like and losing two in a row, especially that one with Gukesh where he had such a nice position. It's it's very tough to recover from such, but he showed what a great fighter he is, and I'm very happy that his form is back. And I'm sure this confidence will help him get back to good form.
And did Magnus's, like I would say, in his standards, of course, a very bad tournament for him. Did it surprise you a little bit the way he played here in Norway?
Yeah, I mean, it is obviously surprising when Magnus doesn't do well, but yeah, these things happen. Like he wins so many tournaments, so like one bad tournament, I think it's just one of the normal things to happen.
Like in Sigerman, also you played with him this very tense playoffs, of course, which eventually he won. Did you feel anything like that? Because there it felt like Magnus was like at the absolute best. He came like he came back very
I
very.
mean, in classical, it didn't seem like he was at his best because he had some shaky games,
Yeah,
but
against Jordan he lost, of course.
yeah, and some other shaky games as well, even though he won in there. But yeah, I think like the fact that he plays classical so rarely, it can happen, but it's still, yeah, he still shows, of course, very great quality even in classical, despite not playing much.
Thank you so much, Arjun, and best wishes for the upcoming games.
Thank you.